Well, hear ye. We got the acreage number that we've been waiting for. This used to be a really big one. I mean, I can remember being on spring break when my family was younger, and this was one you never wanted to miss, but it seemed to be always in line with our spring break, so it was always a tough call. Today, we got some support and all the other things, except for corn, and corn's where I wanted to see some support, and the numbers came across the tape bigger than expected, and that caused corn to kind of trade a little easier. Corn's had a difficult time kind of getting up off the mat here. We were expecting around, at least we were expecting around 94 million acres. It came in around almost 97 million acres. So a decent increase there. That's not going to be bullish. And that's one of the reasons I think that this thing's trading pretty heavy. Obviously, we did get some good news overnight with the Chinese purchasing some grain. And that used to be a reason for corn to really rally in the past. But if it doesn't rally on that kind of news, there seems to be a bigger picture out there, and I think the bigger picture is this. With what we've got going on with the oil market and crude oil, and the reports that crude's going to trade into the mid-teens, and some pretty inflammatory reports saying crude's going to trade into the single digits. Now, I can't remember. I mean, I was a young lad the last time I remember crude oil trading down to those levels. And it's a large part to do with what's happening between Saudi Arabia and Russia. I'm sure you all know about that war. We've got no demand because the economy's shut down. And then also we've got these issues about storage. We're going to run out of storage, believe it or not. So you've got everybody vying for these tankers to store it on out in the waters for maybe up to 12 months to see if they can get some better prices down the road. So no supply, no, wait, oversupply, no storage, a big fight between Russia and Saudi Arabia, all causing this energy kind of stuff, ethanol, to be going down in sync with oil, which then makes corn go down in sympathy with ethanol. And the ethanol patch is getting hit pretty heavy because of what's been happening over there. So even with news that China bought some corn overnight, that wasn't good enough to get over this energy issue where corn's going to be tied to the hip of crude oil for the short term here. So while that's going to be the case, you want to keep an eye on crude oil, because if that's where corn's going to go, you want to make sure that you've got something in plan for that. Now, the producers out there, again, unless we get some help from Mother Nature, and we usually do, or almost always do every year, get one, maybe two little bumps from Mother Nature. You want to make sure that you're locked and loaded and ready to take advantage of those things, because out of everything out there today, or at least the products that we trade as far as row crops go, corn's having a difficult time because it's really stuck to the hip of that crude oil contract, or at least the energy sector. And with what's happening to oil, then happens to ethanol, then happens to corn. So that's going to be the overarching kind of an issue. That's going to be something that you're going to have to keep an eye on. Not just corn, not just supply and demand, not just acres, not just ending stocks. You're going to have to also keep an eye on crude oil stocks, I'm sorry to say. And in the short term, that's going to rule the day. So keep an eye on everything outside of it. Obviously, our own numbers are going to have something to do with it. We'll probably get a bump or two from Mother Nature this year. You'll have to wait for that if you're a producer. But in the meantime, keep an eye on crude, keep an eye on ethanol, and make sure that you're covered for the downside.